the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of minutes of October 16th, 2023.
Motion.
The motion by Commissioner Hammery, second by Commissioner Hatch. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Nothing under awards and proclamations. Nothing under public hearing. We have a bid opening for snowplow, and we got one bid, Spencer?
Yep.
Okay.
Butler Machinery Company, Devils Lake, North Dakota. Bid is $40,525. $40,525.
I'll make a motion to pass it on to Mike to review and make recommendations.
Motion by Commissioner Robbins,
Second.
second by Commissioner Hammery. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Visitors and delegations. Brad's not able to be here tonight, but Spencer, I think he was going to ask for his. Funding.
So just asking for quarter three and quarter four funds. Brad's business is pretty well integrated with the city. So if the commission would like to release the funds, I can have request that you just kind of write a high level update. We can provide it as informational in the next city commission meeting. If that's something the commission would be all right with. The release is 30, I have the number written down here. 31,057.50.
I'll make a motion to
release the
funds.
Motion by Commissioner Hammery,
Second.
second by Commissioner Hatch. Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Robbins.
Aye.
Commissioner Hatch.
Aye.
Commissioner Hammery.
Aye.
President Mo.
Aye. Motion carries. Commission portfolios. We'll start with Commissioner Robbins.
Mike, anything in engineering?
Right now, there's work occurring on our Second Street water main replacement project. All the water main is in place. Water services, for the most part, have been switched over. There was just a handful remaining. People that they have to be in contact with in order to turn their water on back to the main. And there's some sewer video going on over there, just to make sure that we didn't impact any of the sewer service laterals or the sewer main. That'll be it then. Once they kind of finish off some of the cleanup work that they have over in that area, we'll have asphalt repair work that's scheduled for next week for residents along Second Street. And that'll be the end of our water main replacement work for this year. So once we start getting into October, there's a concern about freezing and temporary water service. So that will be it for the water main replacement. There's still other areas that we have to do some water main replacement work on. The remaining areas will be completed next year. That's what we have for engineering. Other than last week, the Corps of Engineers was in town and provided some dam safety training for public utilities folks in engineering. Just, I think the last time we had completed some dam safety training through the Corps had been 10 years ago. And with a lot of new faces, I've requested them to come up just to provide some information related to dam, the functioning of the dam, and some of the do's and don'ts with the operation maintenance that we have. That's all I have for engineering, unless you have questions.
I don't know if anyone else does.
Oh, good.
Streets?
I just reviewed the bid that was provided from Butler Machine. The plow does meet all the specifications that were requested, and it's in line with the amount that we were thinking that it should cost through Sourcewell as well as a local vendor. So recommend award of that snowplow to Butler Machinery in the amount of $40,525. It's got a long lead time on it. We may not see that plow this season, but it's an additional plow. We're trying to increase the arsenal for the snow removal. We're repurposing one of the old plows that we have in the interim, but this plow will serve well for the work that we needed to do.
Okay, I'll make motion to approve Mike's recommendation for the purchase of the plow.
Motion by Commissioner Robbins,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Hatch. Any discussion? No further discussion? All in roll call, please. Excuse me.
Commissioner Robbins?
Aye.
Commissioner Hatch?
Aye.
Commissioner Henry?
Aye.
President Mo?
Aye, motion carries.
All right, that's all I have, unless you got anything else under streets.
No, the streets, there's a lot of work, prep work for winter that's occurring and a lot of remaining work that we're trying to get through yet this fall in the street department, but I have nothing to report to the commission.
Oh, on streets down here at the intersection of Fourth and Fourth, there's a bunch of graffiti down on the sidewalks.
Is it chalk?
No, it's not John.
You know, the graffiti is difficult because it seems like in some areas we just go through a process to remove the graffiti. And for some reason, it's almost like it's a blank canvas. City crews went through the entire pedestrian underpass, painted the entire thing, had it looking very nice. And then it's full of graffiti again. But there's some areas, especially in the highly visible areas, we will stay after it. We will work to get that removed.
Do we have cameras in that one, especially that walking one? There's nothing for cameras or anything like that on the ends?
That's being reviewed. We had fake cameras set up there at one time, and they were very effective until they were pushed out of alignment, and then people understood that they weren't connected to things. We've looked at putting in cameras, but it's all, you need internet access, you need this, so it's just another monthly fee everywhere if you're going to have it so that it's easily accessible and reviewable. We have some additional cameras being reviewed for downtown. The police chief and I have had conversations related to that.
Yeah.
And so just received some information from the phone company on, these are areas that we can look at and add cameras. And it's some hierarchy, right? How much are you willing to spend to cover that particular area? These areas are kind of the low-hanging fruit. We can secure them with cameras. These other areas, if you want them, it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge.
But they are a safety thing too, I
I
believe.
was thinking the same thing.
So
You know?
on Fourth and Fourth in particular, that will be covered by cameras. I mean, we have, there's a significant area of downtown that's
And
covered.
some of the alleys too, I would think, we talked about it.
That's in the proposal.
Yeah.
Some of the alleys are within the proposal. If there was graffiti on Fourth and Fourth, that would be covered. And I know a certain police chief that likes to look through those cameras, so he'd be able to find the perpetrator.
Okay,
Thank you, Chief. You don't have no me. That's not a certain.
okay.
That's all.
We'll look into it, yeah,
All right.
definitely. I mean, we didn't have no idea that there was there. I just seen it on Thursday, so. Also, it's been.
Oh, it's been there.
well,
We will work. There's some pretty good, if it hasn't set in, we have some pretty good graffiti removal
It's on the
tools.
nice maroon colored dotted stuff too.
Okay. In some aspects, that's better because it's got a sealer on it, so a lot of the porosity is removed, and so it doesn't bite as quite as hard. We'll see. That's all I have, Commissioner.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Hatch.
Mike, anything from sanitation?
Fall special pickup is complete, and it was pretty high this fall. I'm waiting on the final numbers for the volumes and true out of pocket, or true costs for us. But I'll have a report at the next commission meeting relative to that. Corey just made a comment that it was much higher than typical.
Okay.
That's all I have for sanitation.
Anybody else have anything for us?
No,
Okay. Rob?
I've got nothing for you unless you have questions for me this meeting.
Nothing. I'm good.
okay, Commissioner Hamry.
Mike, anything for utilities?
Just one comment on a personal engineering note with utilities. I just want to thank utilities for the work that they did to help with lead line replacement over on Second Street and all the extra work that they did to help facilitate that project. was a lot that went into it. They kind of went above and beyond to make sure that all the lead lines that were encountered were replaced and homeowners were taken care of to the extent practical on that project. So, and right now they're over there, in fact, helping the sewer video folks. They had cleaned the sewer mains, but there were a couple areas where there was still some remaining debris, and they're over making sure that we can get a very good video of that area for the sewer and the laterals to make sure that all the systems are fully functioning when you leave. So just want to say thank you to utilities for that.
When do they plan on pulling out the docks?
2 of the docks got pulled today, and we're trying to coordinate with Game and Fish to remove Henniger. And right now the plan is Thursday for that. If we can make Thursday work, otherwise it'll be really part of next week. That's all I have, Commissioner.
So anybody's got questions? That's all I got, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Chief?
I've got nothing from the police department at this time.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go with Commissioner Pierce's.
I got
Chief.
nothing at this time.
Okay. Okay, thanks. And nothing? Okay, Spencer.
Just real quick, for the next meeting, Mayor, Mike, and I had a good meeting with Gilbertson Funeral Home this past week or two, and should have hopefully something in front of you for a game plan for that columbarium moving forward in the city cemetery. So we're gonna work that out. Hopefully next meeting we'll have that before you, as well as we've been working with Farmer Brink to try to maximize our cash management strategies so that we can take advantage of as much interest earning potential as possible. So we might have a slight change coming to you guys at the next meeting for consideration. So other than that, that's all we got.
Okay, thank you, Spencer. Jack, other than what you got coming up, I guess.
Yeah, so there's a request to have a joint meeting between the city, the county, and the LEC regarding the LEC property and the JPA. I spoke with the LEC's attorney today. They're currently doing a title review and having the abstract updated on the property. And so he's reviewing that. And once that's done, then I guess he'll advise the LEC on what to do with the property. And he doesn't think that there'll be any updates on this by the end of the month. So I'm not sure if we'll still have that joint meeting.
I'm sure we'll have a discussion on that Wednesday. We have a LEC meeting, so we'll probably have a discussion.
And then, but really on that, we're waiting on the LEC. And then regarding the junk nuisances, we sent out some second notices. And if nothing happens, then we'll proceed with formal litigation.
That's everything?
That's it.
Thank you, Jack. I just got one thing. Last week, you probably heard on the news that Senator DeHoven came to the community. Spencer and I had the opportunity to meet with him and then go and then hire Tim Brickner from CHI, who is one of their higher level CEOs. He was here also. We had a very cordial meeting. We talked about all the concerns and conditions of our state of our current hospital. We did do a tour of the hospital. It was kind of exactly how I would thought it would be, and Senator Hoven was, he saw the concerns that we're talking about, but we also talked in lengthy, discussion about, Tim was very understanding. He did agree that there was some definite need for improvements and more than just a small amount of money. So there's, I think at the end of the day, there's gonna be another roundtable meeting. So CHI heads will be here, Tim will be here, and maybe even the higher level people will be here. And we'll have further discussion with Hoven, but at the next meeting, I think the outcome is gonna be pretty specific as to who's on board and who's not, and how we're gonna forge ahead. But when that meeting's scheduled, it would be nice if we could have all you commissioners, if it makes it, to be there and be present, listen to it and add anything if you have anything. But Spencer, anything to add to it? But
No, I think just a big thank you to Senator Hogan's office. Throughout my time here working with the city of Devils Lake, I think we've engaged actors at the state level. I think all three congressional members of the congressional delegation and Senator Hogan's office has been extremely responsive. So just really want to thank them for doing a real professional job and being in our corner in this as we advocate for this. And going to tour, I think it was the CEO of CHI has seen the situation, and I don't think there was any disputing that a generational investment in our healthcare infrastructure is needed. And we know that they have $100 million all earned in this community, and so that some of it needs to be substantially reinvested, or those that are willing to make the investments need to be permitted to do so. And I think you had said that you communicated those things and that there is a big trust gap
issue with us.
with this community and corporate level CHI, despite the passion and good efforts of our fellow community members that work at our current facility. So that would be the only thing I would add, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Spencer. Yeah, Senator Hogan's been great to work with. He definitely understands the concerns of our community. And his statement basically is if the community's not happy, he's not gonna be happy. So that's where we're at with it. But that meeting, the CEO of the hospital here, she's had knee surgery right now, so she's gonna be out of the loop for a while. So they'd like her to kind of be recovered a little bit before the meeting's scheduled. And usually they're short notice meetings, so bear with us. It's not that we're trying not to help, get it out there, but Senator Hogan's staff schedules them and they kind of pop up real fast. Even though they need to be publicized.
And I would also add too, it might be a little fluent that the world's a little upside down. And we all know number one, he's got a job in DC as well. So
Yeah, things are not looking good at the major fronts up there. So, but I just wanted to give you a little briefing on that. Anybody have any questions about anything?
Oh, good.
Okay. Well, we'll move on then. Okay, and under old business, number one, we have a representative from Mid-State Volunteer Program, Brenda Bergsrud. Thank you for coming, Brenda. At the last meeting, I've had some people ask me about how the need for funding for all these people, and we know we support you, and we've been supporting you for a few years. And we haven't had an update as to how things are going, and I guess it would be nice if we could have you kind of explain to us how things are going. I know you've got 2 facilities now versus 1, and what you had. So if you don't mind giving us a little update and explain the need, I guess, for the funding.
Well, I guess the last time I was here, I talked about the numbers were down significantly with COVID for people volunteering. And we are slowly building those numbers back up. Our high school volunteers have been absolutely awesome, and many of them are doing over 500. By the time they graduate, they start logging their hours when they're in grade 9 through 12, and many of them are exceeding over 500 hours of volunteer hours. The importance of that, so I'm going to jump around a little bit when I talk, but the importance of that, and it just happened today, we have a young gal from our community that is going to veterinarian school. To get into veterinarian school, they have to have a letter of proof telling how many hours that they have volunteered. We have done that with another gal that went to University of Kansas. In order to get entry into University of Kansas, she had to have an official letter documenting her volunteer hours. We have had other people going into medical school. That's now required to go into medical school. There's a lot of other master and above level now that colleges, universities are requiring that letter. So we're not just working with our senior population, but we're also doing our uniqueness of having the Firebird program here. So now on to our senior population. A couple of us were just at a meeting last Friday talking about that aging, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
It was a good meeting.
it was a very good
Enlightening
meeting.
meeting.
Yes, I left there. I actually talked Gary's ear off that evening, telling him about what we discussed there. So he's older than I am. He's closer to that retirement age. So, but anyways, we, one of the things that I had mentioned at that meeting was when people retire, they go home. And often we see them then seek into depression, to not be active in our community anymore. And that happens more often than not. Just a week ago, we had somebody who moved away. His mother still lives here. And he called and said, would you please find my mother something to do? He said she was very active at one time. She no longer is. She needs to get out of the house. We're very concerned about her health. And it's not just physical health, it's also mental health. So the depression sets in. And so we were able to do that. We find out what she's capable of doing. She has some limitation with her hand. She has arthritis. So we were able to find her something that she can do. And so this not only helps the agencies that we place people in, but it also helps the well-being of the people in the community. So we are slowly building back up. So when you, as the city, have supported the rent of the building, I know there was some question about that, but you're actually supporting the entire program. It's hard with the little bit of funding that we're getting. At one time, this program had federal funding under a federal grant. So that was originally under the RSVP program, was under the Devils Lake Public School System, for those of you that don't know. Then it went under NDSU and became a statewide program. Then a few years back, when the state was going through some adjustments in the university system, was they relinquished that federal grant that supported the RSVP program. So our board at the time, which was chaired by Ryan Hansen, we saw the importance of the program staying in the community and the importance of what the volunteerism did for the community. So it became a community-based program. I know that the city paid the rent way back when it was still under NDSU. But so now it's through fundraising through the city and some support from the county to continue with the program. But it's not cheap to hire people. It's not cheap to have internet. It's not cheap to even buy paper anymore. So by doing that, you're more than just supporting by paying rent. You're supporting the entire program so that we can provide this service to the community.
Now, the building you used to have, now is that still your building?
We do. We still have the volunteer office in that building.
Okay.
And the one across from the Liquid Bean. Is that what you're
Yes,
talking about?
yes, correct.
So I'll go back even further. So Amachi, the youth venture program, used to be under the old RSVP program. And then they kind of separated in that board. And it was about the time I was hired that Amachi decided that they wanted to be there on their own. And they filed for their own 501c3. Then when NDSU relinquished that grant, the boards kind of came together and said, well, why don't we just do a reverse and the volunteer program come under Amachi rather than forming another 501c3. So that's kind of why, but it's always kind of, it's under that, but it's kind of kept its own, if that makes sense. So, and then when Amachi started doing more of the recovery programs, we just thought, because of some of our senior population, that it may be more comfortable to still stay where it was at. So yes.
Do we cover
Yeah.
for both buildings?
No, just one.
Just one?
Yeah, the other building, the Amachi building, it was decided to actually purchase that building just because of the space that was needed for that recovery program. To pay rent for that was like $2,000 to $3,000 a month, where with buying the building under I'm going to lose the right word here because I'm really tired right now. But the SBA loan and stuff, the two apartments upstairs basically cover the expense of the building. So it wasn't that $2,000 to $3,000 a month. It ended up basically there's not much cost to it. Of course, there's taxes and all of that, but you know what I'm saying.
That's that good.
Much less. Yeah, we know. So when you're talking about the graffiti, I was kind of listening because we have some graffiti behind our building that needs to be taken off as well. So,